Hello, welcome back to BlenderSushi. In this live noding, I'll be started to talk about more about Sverchok and generative modeling. Recently, there's this development at Sverchok where we now have like a group nodes in Sverchok, and they call it Monad, M-O-N-A-D, Monad. So with the Monad nodes, especially with the they have this built-in like a vectorizations, kind of like a loop or like a function that loop automatically. We can generate like a variations really quickly. Yeah, so let's start with a simple ones. We're gonna do a couple of simple monad explorations, and then further on we might once we are familiar with the way we can generate variations, we're gonna continue on. Maybe if we my idea is always to generate the random mesh using Sverchok and then animate it using animation nodes. They work really well that way. Yeah, so let's do it. I actually get this inspiration from processing. Again, processing is great for generative design, and with processing, they use functions to generate something like this. They have a function that can draw a circle, and then in one of the processing example, it's a we can loop, so it's draw circles and then make it grows for a certain number of iterations, and then once it's done, move to the next positions and then do the same functions again and again and again. With processing, it's because it's a 2D and it's really literally drawing every frames. It's kind of it's different from doing it using 3D in Blender, because in Blender you actually have a real mesh. Yeah, but to make this kind of design in Blender is a quite an interesting exercise. Supposedly you want, let's say you want to make something like that, you would think like, okay, you can use array, right? It's not actually that simple. If you try, like if I really want to do it using array, so we have a circle here, and then with array, of course, we know that it can create duplicates. I tried this before, and then it doesn't work as I planned it. Okay, it creates a duplicate, and then we can, how do we grow duplicates? We can use like a object offset here. Select the empty and then scale the empty, and let's see, 0 offset. So it's like, looks like it's kind of doing it, but not really, because at the moment it's really scaling in a not proportionally. It's getting larger and larger each time, so that's not really what we want. There might be a way to actually generate that pattern in Blender manually, but then it's a different way of workflow and thinking. So let's try doing it using Sverchok, and you will see this is a much better, more, I guess, more computationally more elegant, I guess. Anyway, I don't know what's the word, just made it up. So let's go to compositing. Let's get started. Sverchok, new node 3, create a circle. Conveniently, Sverchok has lots of generators already. I think Sverchok is very, it needs more people to look at it, because there's so much we can do using Sverchok, but not many people knows it. Okay, start with a circle. We know circle, if we use fewer draw, it's gonna draw a circle, right? circle like that, or if you use the edges, it looks like that. Let's save this real quick. Sverchok circle in circle. So for now, we're gonna care about circle with fill, polygon fill inside, and we know we can scale the radius, play with the vertices. 24 is a good number. Degrees, if we change the mode, we can have a circle that's more like pi, like that. That's definitely useful for infographics. And yeah, if you're happy with the circle, this is all procedural. If you're happy, you can bake it, and then you have like a real mesh object. You can further work with it. Okay, that's the general workflow. Alright, so if you want to create pattern like that, like in processing, maybe you're thinking, okay, maybe use a matrix then. That was my first thought, but it's actually not the most efficient. I'm just gonna show it to you. Matrix, scale, rotations. Okay, scale. You're thinking, okay, scale is a vector, and then vector. We want it to scale up, so maybe vector interpolation. Vertices. It easily get pretty confusing from here already. That's not the right way to do it. Linear or cubic? Let's try linear. Vertices, join vector release, join vector in, combine vector or vertices. Let's try release join. Yeah, I got confused just now a little bit because I was thinking about animation nodes, and then we're using Sverchok. Let's try this anyway. So scale requires vector, so it's vector 0 1 1 1, scale 1 1 1 to 10 10 10, and then see the result. And okay, seems to be working. We need a interpolations. Interpolations is a float, range float. Check it out. Count. Step 1 10. Yeah, something like that. It's kind of what I think that's will work, but not quite. Count 1 to 10 actually. Count okay, I just made a mistake. The interpolations value should be between 0 and 1, and then so the floats range should be between 0 and 1, and we want a 10 different scale like that. We could approach it like that, and then okay, we're done, and then but that's not quite right. It will work, like we can bake it, and then we can have a look. Okay, that's kind of right, but that's only a single circle. So let's not doing it that way. There's another way we can do it, where instead of scaling the matrix, instead of transforming the circle with scale, we're gonna work with the circle, and we know we have this radius, and then this is Sverchok. So Sverchok, really you think about lists and numbers. If you have multiple numbers or range of numbers of random numbers, Sverchok will kind of loop it for every node. It's gonna loop it like magically. So here we have radius. So maybe you're thinking, okay, maybe we can pipe in a number of radius and it's gonna work right away. Say create a list. Can we create a list? Let's try. A list join or vector. Is there a vector list? Not really. Don't worry about that. We're gonna just use range of float. Okay, so you can choose range or count or step, whichever you like. Maybe we use step for now. What we're gonna get, the list we're gonna get is we can check using the viewer text. So it's green to green, and then view it. Go to text node and go to Sverchok viewer. So this is very handy. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the list. Okay. 10 numbers from 0 to 1, from 0 to 9. If we pipe that into the radius, okay, I know why. We also need to have the matrix because at the moment it has 10 different data and only one matrix, and it's probably only displaying the first one, which is 0. Yeah, I think that's why. Start with from 1. So for the locations, we can use a vector in, or I can actually use a line, the vector of the line, like that. That's kind of interesting already. The step is actually, if we have output of the line, you know, it's gonna generate lines. I'm gonna show it to you anyway. I know it's all kind of basic, but it's good to see everything. So that's the line. See, and we are using the vectors, the vertices points of that line. We don't care about the edges. We are just using the vertices of that line, and then for the matrix. So that's what we got. Okay. In fact, at the moment the circle is all overlapping each other. Maybe we want a little bit of gap. We can do that as well. If we separate the line and then combine it back. So line, normally it goes that way in the X directions. We can make it so it goes in the Z directions, like that. Okay, so really quickly we have our circle pattern. Here we have the count and then the step should be 0. So the number of vertices of the matrix should match the count. So integer input. So that's exactly what we want. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, that's good. Here we have it. We drag the X or the Y. Okay. Okay, that's kind of what I think we need. Step 0.01. So they're not overlapping. So there's slight gap between each of the circle. We can tell if we use ambient occlusions. So that's very clear. The nice thing about Sverchok Viewer is I think it's OpenGL and it's working with ambient occlusions, those kind of stuff. Even Madcap, I think. Oh, actually, didn't work with Madcap. Never mind. So yeah, we have our circle. It's all good. Now, what if we want to have circle of of circles, like an array. Can we do that? Before we have like monad, we can do that, but it's kind of involving a lot of list splitting and list repetitions. It's kind of complex, and that's the thing that kind of I have struggled with. But recently Sverchok has this group node, like I mentioned, and it's called Monad. The Monad thing can now do vectorizations, so it's quite a smart thing going on there. It takes some time to get used to it, but once you understand, it's kind of powerful, really powerful. So let's see how we're gonna implement that. So we have this matrix and blah blah blah. Okay, it's all good. If we bake this, it's gonna be all separate again. What we want is to combine it first. Matrix apply matrix to mesh. I think that's the one. That's an important one. If we have this 8 different vertices, 8 polygons, and 8 matrices, we are good to go. Basically, if we plug all this in and then we get rid of the matrix there. Now if we bake, we're gonna get only like a single mesh, but this guy has everything, so that's good. That's what we want. Here we could just use the matrix to test it real quick. Okay, that seems to be working. So that's if we want the same circle, but what we want is the ability to kind of have variety of circle instead of how many. Now we have 8 circles per whatever we call it, crop circles, or yeah. So they're all the same, not very interesting. But we can, if we use the monad, we can actually create variations for the attributes inside this. Okay, so that's kind of cool. How are we going to do that? Normally I set it up so it's working like this, and then with the matrix as well. So this is all good. We can break frame this to test it. I'm gonna save and then continue using different versions. Basically select parts that we're gonna put inside the monad. Okay, and then control G, and then we get inside the monad. Now inside the monad, it's actually doing this input and output thing automatically, so we don't need to do anything. I think we can now just go up, but I'm gonna pipe in the start and the step as well, just in case we need them. And then circle radius, maybe degree. Yeah, maybe we can do that later. Now we can go up, clicking on this button, SV parent, we go back to the top. Now we have only this monad, and yeah, everything else just disappear, kind of like inside this monad thing. We can go back, click on edit, and we are inside. It's kind of like make everything cleaner. So apart from organizing, we can use this monad thing to create variations. So the secret is to use this vectorize and split. So that's the 2 options we need to turn on. So if I create the matrix to generate like duplications, vector. I'll use line. So maybe 8 different circles like that. At the moment we have each one of them is still same number, like 8, 8, 8, 8. Now we can actually pipe in a list here. Let's give it a go. Range integer count from 10, okay, maybe 8. So range plug into the vertices. Seems to be failing, but I think should be working. Let's see, did I make mistakes? Vectorize and split. Let me check real quick. So join matrices. Okay, Blender just crashes. No. Okay, let's reset that. Maybe I did something wrong. Let's reopen Blender real quick. Blender and make it full screen. Windows. And let's open circle in circle. Still loading. Let's delete that. Oops, did I delete the monad? Okay, Blender still, I think it's still loading. Let me check real quick. I think I did everything correctly. Let's vector out, matrix in, and join. Let's open the finished version that I created earlier. Circle of circle. Okay, so in this one, get a map range and random vectorize split. Okay, seems this is the working version. Let me at the moment still. Sometimes there's a not sure if this is a bug or I should be more patient when opening Blender. Sometimes it's I need to double click on it instead of single click. So now it's working. Oh, I just switched there. Okay, all good. All right, so here this is the working versions. I wonder what's the difference of this to my version. Okay, so it's supposed to work like this. We have the circle being generated, and see, if we turn off the vectorize and the split, it's not doing it, but if you have those on, it works right away. This is how it's supposed to work. Let's see what mistakes I did. So file, save as version 6. Gonna jump inside the monad. Apply metrics. So this is how it works. I'm gonna take a screenshot and go up, and then take another screenshot. Yeah, it's still, I'm still exploring this monad thing. So just today, actually. So keep that in mind. Bear with me. Let's see. Let's arrange, sort it by date modified. Let's see the monad thing. So that's what we should have with full screen. Okay. It's a step, so that's correct. Circle goes into radius, correct. Mode, doesn't matter. Vertices, faces, and the matrices. I think the problem is with the matrices, and I'm using line. One. Apply matrix to mesh, join. Face. Vertices, edges, 24. Yeah, everything seems to be correct. Get rid of this. Try again. Give it matrix in. Let's try with a random vector. That's very interesting. Where did I do wrong? Maybe, okay. The start is 0. Okay, that seems to be the problem. I have like a 0 number of vertices there. Wow. Silly me. Okay, line. It's okay, we learn to troubleshoot. There you go, we have like if we use list range, of course, obviously the number of vertices will grow. So yeah, debug it. Let's instead of using debug screen, let's use a text viewer text. Let's have a look. Let's reopen our text, see what's the inside. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, blah blah blah. So it grows bigger real quick. You don't always use a node to generate result. Let's say we want to generate 8 copies, so we can use expression actually. Formula. That's what we have in Sverchok. So let's say you want the circle to generate 3, 5, or 3, 6, 10, and 12. So it's just 4. And if we plug this into the vertices, we get it exactly. So we have like 3, 6, 10, 12. 3, 6, 10, and 12. Yeah, I believe that's 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 circles. The first one must be, it's like really small. It's 0. So I forgot to set this up as well. So three circles, 6, 10, 12. We can change this to, let's say I want it to be 5. I want this to be 4. It's gonna give you exactly that. It's really handy. So it's really up to you how you want to generate the circles. But of course, the nice thing is we can because it's a procedural, and then we have the setup already, the monad thing, and everything is working as planned. Now I could generate something like, let's say, like a sine wave even. Try with random first. Random. So random is gonna generate. Let's have a look. Maybe so 10 different random number. 0.8, 0.7. Okay, that's good, but the value is too small for our vertices. We need something that's bigger than 2. So we're gonna use map range, plug in a value, alt minimum and maximum 0 and 1. So we want it now between 0, 2 and 10, let's say, or 2 and 20. And then we check the value now. 17, 15. Okay, now we also want to use integer, float to integer. Check the number again. Okay. Says Sverchok data error. I think it's a bug. Okay, 17, 16. Okay, that's good. Now we just plug this into there. And we have how many? 10. So we need 10. Okay, so that's the result we are getting. Let's turn on ambient occlusion. Maybe turn off the dots, and then yeah, that's pretty good. Ambient occlusions a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. We can start playing with the pattern. So to ensure that this works properly, the count of the number need to match the matrices. So there you go. 21 different variations of circles or inside the circles, and we can randomize if we use random vector. Plug this into the count and plug that in there. The random vector actually have very small value between 0 and 1, so we can't really tell. So it's a good idea to use vector math. And now multiply by scalar. And use float. Now we can have random. So yeah, that's nice. We can have like 100 of them. Each one will have different circles, number, and yeah, this is possible because of the monad and the vectorize and split. It's really nice. With the matrix thing, it's basically the placement of the object. Yeah, normally you don't even need to do this inside this Sverchok. Let's say we don't even need like 10, like 100 variations. Maybe 10 is enough, and then we have 10 of them. Let's use a line. Let's just generate our copies. 10 of them. Okay. And then what we can do further is use the NK2 and let's output that guy and that guy into the faces. That's to the matrix. Let's output the group, scrub a little bit, so, and then hide the fewer. Now we have the circle being generated. That's gonna be our like instances that we can further use inside animation nodes. So that's I think that's a good workflow. Let's get objects from group, objects from group, grab that, and then inside animation node, so it starts to slow down. Turn off always, and then here we just loop through everything. Object transform output. Okay, locations can be further randomized. And randomized with seed. Cool. We have the scale already in the animation nodes. Yeah, very cool. It's working as I planned it. There's we got a hiccup before, but it's okay. Random, see, okay. Random vector, we can have random wiggle, Euler to vector wiggle. That's what I like. And use a vector math. Seed, and then the evolution is gonna be the frame. We can stagger the evolutions as well. It's moving rather slowly. And maybe 10, speed of 10. Yeah, so random circles generated using Sverchok, and then we animate it using animation nodes. So yeah, there you go. We can always further, I think, play with the seed, and then yeah, it's kind of interesting that we can do that. Probably we want to cut this connection. So yeah. Okay, that's a kind of like introductions to Monad, and yeah, like the way we could vectorize a generated mesh in Sverchok. It's really like a really robust kind of workflow. It takes some kind of thinking to understand the monad thing, but once you get it, you know, once you understand how to create the monad and then how to randomize it outside of the monad and then turn on the vectorize and split, this become really powerful. Yeah, so there you go. Let me close this. Anyway, oh, okay, actually, I know. Gonna use grid, plane, plug that in. So we have 4, maybe 40 by 40, 1000. No, 10 by 10. It's 100 different variations. Go for it. Generate it. So that's pretty complex, you know. Min and max. Yeah, crop circle. That's exactly crop circle. All procedural, all nice. We can randomize the seed, and each one of them is unique. Okay, so that's a Sverchok and Monad introductions. I might have more video just to explore Monad a little bit more. Yeah, hope you find this useful. If you like it, you can leave like. If you don't understand any part, you can leave a comment, and feel free to subscribe. And yeah, hopefully you like the video, and then I'll continue making video.